make something a function or not? What do we look at? Well, what does it repeat? The x's, right? We look to see if the x's repeat. If you have any repeating x's, then we know it's not a function, right? Okay, so on the first one here, do we have any repeating x's? Yes. So is this one a function? No. So this one's not a function. All right, on the second one, do we have any repeating x's? Okay. We had 2's that repeated there, so this one also not a function, right? What about 3? Is that one a function? Yes, it is. What about 4? Okay, so they asked us to pick which ones are functions. So my answer would be, very good. Ooh, I just moved the whole thing, didn't I? Uh-oh. There we go. What's going on? There it goes. Okay. So, today, we're kind of extending on what we were doing yesterday, using our rule, right, to come up with whatever range values for the given domain, right? Today, we're going to talk about how we can do that in our calculator. So yesterday, we could type it in to solve, right? But we still needed to write out on our paper what we were plugging in. Today, we'll be doing the entire thing in our calculator. So these are the steps that we follow. Step 1 is to press the y equals button. Step 2, you put your equation or rule into y1. And then you just press second graph and it pulls up the table. So you can see all of your domains and ranges. So, for example 1, they asked for f of -3. Well, f would mean I'm looking at the first equation, right? F of x equals x squared plus 4x. So if I'm going to do this in my calculator, step 1 is to go to y equals. So you need to press your y equals button. And in y1, you're supposed to type in what they said the equation was. Well, they said f of x was equal to what on our paper? No, f of x equals
x squared plus 4.
Good, so that's what I'm going to type in. X squared plus 4x. All right? And then I'm going to go ahead and press second table, and that's going to pull up a list of all the x's and all the y's. Now, the first example, like Grayson said, they asked for f of -3, right? So they replaced x with -3. So I'm looking in my x column. When x is -3, what is y? What does it say on our calculator? When x is -3, what is y? Also -3, right? When x is -3, y1 also says -3. All right. So putting it in my calculator, they told us f of -3 gives us an output of -3. All right. Okay. Number 2 says I'm looking for g of -5. So g means I need to go in my calculator and change out my rule. So I'm going to go back to y equals and clear out what's in there. What was the rule or the equation for g of x?
5 minus 3x.
Right. So I type in 5 minus 3x. Okay. Once I have that typed in, I'm going to pull up my table by pressing second graph. They said they want g of -5, so I scroll to where x is -5, and what does it say the answer is? 20. All right. Okay. This next time when I do it, you're not sitting there watching, you are also typing it in your calculator. All right? So, number 3 says they want f of 1 plus g of 3, right? So I've got to find both of those things and then add them together. So right now we already have g typed in our calculator, right? So let's go ahead and figure out what the g is before we clear that out. So they said they want g of what? Of 3. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to where x is positive 3 and see what they say y is. What does it say?
Negative
4.
four.
Okay, so right here, below g, I'm going to write -4. All right, now I got to go and find f. So I'm going to go back to my y equals. So everybody should be in their y equals right now. Clear out what's currently in y1. And I'm going to type in what they said f of x was. What was f of x again?
X squared plus 2.
Very good. X squared plus 4x. Good. All right, so that's what I typed in my y1, and then you press second graph, and it pulls up that table. They said they wanted f of what number? 1. Okay, so I look at where x is 1, and what is y? 5. So underneath here, I write 5. And I'm supposed to do what with those two numbers? Add them together. So what is 5 plus -4? Very good. All right. Okay, number 4 says we're looking for f of -2 minus g of 4. So in my calculator, we already have our f plugged in, all right? So when they ask for f of -2, and I look at my calculator's table, when x is -2, what is y? Very good. So this is -4 minus, now I'm going to have to find g. So I go back in my calculator. I'm going to go to y equals and clear out that rule and put in g. What is g? Very good. So I'll type in 5 minus 3x and pull up the table. And they ask for a g of what? 4. Okay, so I look in my calculator at my x's, and when x is 4, what is y? -7. Very good. All right, so we had 4 minus -7. Well, what is 4 minus -7? Make sure we're real careful typing that in our calculator. We got 2 negatives in a row, right? So what do 2 negatives make? Positive, right? So -4 plus 7, like Seth said, would be 3. All right. Okay, last one in this section here. It says they want 2 times g of -2 plus 3 times f of 2. Okay, so which one do we currently have typed in our calculator? G. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and find g of -2 while we have it typed in. So I'm in my calculator. When x is -2, what is y? When x is -2, y is 11. Okay, so inside of this bracket becomes 11. And there's also a 2 on the outside that I'm supposed to be multiplying that by, right? Plus 3 times f of 2. So I'm going to have to go back into y equals and clear out my function and put in my f of x rule. So remember, that was x squared plus 4x. Okay, and they ask for f of 2. When x is 2, what is y? Good. So this inside the bracket became 12. All right, so what is 2 times 11? 22. Plus, what's 3 times 12? 36. Good. And what is 22 plus 36? Good. This simplified down to 58. All right, then we got one challenge question here at the bottom. This one says, for the function f, f of 8 equals -3, and f of -3 equals 8. If y is equal to f of x, what is the value of y when x equals -3? Okay, so I'm going to make me a little table here. just like we're used to making, where we put our x's in the first column and our y's in the second column, okay? All right, so normally it reads f of x in the parentheses, right? Okay, what did they replace the x with here? What number did they replace it with? 8. Okay. And when they put in 8, what did they say you get for y? -3. All right. Same thing on this one. What did they replace x with? -3. And when they did, what they said the answer would be 8. Okay. They said that y means the same thing as f of x. So this column right here could also be called f of x. It would mean the same thing. It says, what is your value of y when x is -3? So here's my x of -3. What is y? 8. There we go. Y equals 8. So it wasn't like it was hard math. They just asked it in a confusing way. They wanted you to break it down. Okay? All right, flip it over onto the back. Okay, so there is a coordinate plane that has all these points on it over here. They want us to list where all of those coordinate points are. So we're going to start with the one furthest to the left. Where is this point right here? -3, what? And then how many up? 4. Okay, so there's our first coordinate point. Very good. All right, where is this point? This one down here. -5, right, because we went down. Good. All right, where is this point? Good. All right, what about this point down here? Where's that one? It is -6, and how many over?
-4.
If I go that way, is it positive or negative? Positive. So we'd have 4, -6. All right, where is this point? This one right here. 4, 2. All right, and then this point over here. So it's 10 lines total, and it's 1 less than that. So that'd be 9 over, right? 9 up. Good. And I think I accidentally skipped one along the way here. Where is this one right here?
7, 0.
So 7, 0 would mean going 7 over and not going up any. So where is it? 0, 7. Okay. All right, so we have all of our coordinates. Now they ask us to list the domain. So my domain is my x's, right? Okay. So remember, we make our bracket and we list them all, but are we going to list any that would repeat? No. Okay. So what were our x values?
-2.
Uh-huh.
-2.
Good. 2.
4.
Mm-hmm.
9.
Mm-hmm.
0.
Good. So did we have any that repeated? Okay. All right. So that means my range is my y's. And now I'm going to list all of those. What are our y's?
4.
4. Uh-huh.
-1.
Uh-huh.
0.
Good.
-6.
Good.
2.
Mm-hmm.
5.
And good. All right. So is this a function? No. Why not? Right. We had an x value that repeated. was at 4, right? X value of 4 repeats. Good. Okay. Then they ask in this same function, what is f of 2? Okay, so they replace the letter what with 2? What's normally inside that parenthesis? X. So they replace the x with 2. They're asking when x was 2, what was y? So look through our coordinate points. Which one has an x value of 2? 2, 0. So when x was 2, y was 0. Okay? Alright, then they ask for f of negative 3. So what would be my answer for f of negative 3? Good. Alright, this one says, if f of x equals 7, then what was x? So this time they ask it the other way around, right? They told us that y is 7. They're asking, what does that mean x was? Right, 0, 7 would be the coordinate point. So when y was 7, x was good. Alright, same thing on number 14. They told you y is negative 6. So what is x when y is negative 6? Good. Alright. Last one. Says to find the domain and range. Okay, so domain, again, we said is what letter? X. Okay, so I'm going to use my variable of x. This point that they gave me right here, where is this coordinate point at? 8. -2. Very good. Okay, now when I'm talking x's, all I care about is the h, right? Okay, from 8, my line takes off this direction with an arrow. As I move, remember x's go left and right. As I move this way, I'm moving to the left. Do my numbers get bigger or smaller when I move to the left? Smaller. So I want to say x is smaller than 8, right? So remember our symbol would be less than 8. Do I want to put the equal to sign? No, why not? Open circle. Open circle. Yes, very good. Okay. All right, now for my range. Range is our y's. What was my lowest y value here? What did we say it was? -2, and then my line starts to go up like this, right? So since it's going up, the y's keep getting bigger. So I want to say y is bigger than -2. So I have y is greater than -2. Again, like I said, this is an open circle, so I'm not going to put the equal to sign with it, right? Okay.